From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's Center for Agricultural Profitability, this is Nebraska Farmcast. I'm Ryan Evans, and on this episode, we'll delve into the crucial realm of strategic planning within the agricultural sector and establishing the vision and mission for an agribusiness. In an industry that's buffeted by the winds of economic change, environmental unpredictability, and technological advancements, having a strategic plan can act as a roadmap through the uncharted territories of future market landscapes. Larry Van Tassell, professor of agricultural economics at UNL and director of the Center for Agricultural Profitability, has a new article on the importance of strategic planning. We'll discuss the art of transforming uncertainties into opportunities, the importance of understanding one's mission, and the need for assessing the ever-evolving external environment that shapes your farm's future. Larry, thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure to be here, Ryan.
Could you just start by elaborating on the importance of strategic planning in today's agricultural landscape?
Sure. Ryan, doesn't it seem like life is on a fast track? The economic and political climates are ever changing. Markets are volatile and technology is changing at an unprecedented pace. Even growing conditions are more variable than they used to be. If producers do not take the opportunity to assess their business in light of what is happening right now, they may be left at the mercy of their external environment and find themselves too often acting defensively, which can end up costing money and creating excessive stress. Strategic planning is a process for developing a stratagem for taking an offensive position regarding the future. Also, one of the greatest benefits of planning is a discussion that ensues within ourselves and with others during the process. So just setting aside a regular time to logically think things through is worth the effort.
And strategic planning obviously involves defining the long-term goals in an organization. So how often should these goals be reassessed or updated on a farm or ranch?
Well, we should sit down at least annually and take a look at what we're going to do this next production cycle, and also examine longer range strategies. But a strategic plan needs to be examined on a constant basis because our external environment continually changes. Markets change, growing conditions change, input costs change. Contingency plans should also be a part of the strategic plan. So if you don't stop and examine how our plan is performing, we can miss some excellent opportunities to avert some disasters.
Great. And you mentioned the economy. So when you talk about assessing the external environment, what are some key indicators that a farmer or rancher should pay attention to in this current economic climate?
Well, sometimes we do not pay enough attention to the needs and desires of our customers because many of us produce a commodity that is not differentiable from what others produce. We ignore what the consumer is trying to tell us. If we take time to examine that part of our external environment, we can often develop a new production and marketing scheme that allows us to receive a premium for our product. Of course, we should always be examining input and output price markets, financial markets, and the political sways that are occurring, and events that are happening around the world. All of these issues and others should be placed in the context of how they can impact our operation and how you can take advantage of the external changes you are seeing.
And in your article, you discuss using SWOT analysis as part of assessing things. So could you just quickly give an overview of the SWOT analysis and how it specifically applies to ag businesses?
Well, SWOT analysis, SWOT, S-W-O-T, is an acronym for examining the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats pertaining to the business and the environment it operates in. It is basically a process to assess what opportunities or threats you see coming your way, and given your operation's strengths and weaknesses, how can you capitalize on these trends? What external factors or opportunities could you leverage to your advantage? What external factors may pose challenges or risks? What internal factors place you at a disadvantage given the external environment and your competition? What are your operation strengths, including your own personal strengths, that can give you an advantage? Looking at what your business's strengths and weaknesses are can also help identify why the operation may have fallen short of your stated goals and help you distinguish what variables are critical to your success.
And speaking of that process, in your article, you share a great story about a young rancher's strategic shift in business. If you don't mind just sharing that and then describing some common obstacles that might prevent farmers or ranchers from adopting innovative approaches like that.
Yeah, basically, a young rancher we'll call Bill was bemoaning to a friend his pending failure as a rancher and how his grandfather was successful, but that Bill himself must not have what it takes. His friend suggested to Bill the reason his grandfather was successful was because he had adapted to the external environment of his day. With this new realization, Bill broadened his mission statement, looked at his operations external environment through a new lens, and came up with some business strategies that were outside the typical cow-calf production system, which in essence ended up saving his ranch. Sometimes we get stuck on doing things the way Dad or Grandpa did, and we don't think outside the box because of that. Our external environments change. Those who can see those changes coming and devise ways to arrange the business to take advantage of those changes can be an innovator that benefits with profits above the norm.
It's great advice. And you also write about mission statements in your article. So can you just talk about how a well-crafted mission statement can help to influence the day-to-day decisions and long-term strategies on a family farm?
Yeah, it's a good question, Ryan. As mentioned before, sometimes the discussion or thought process in coming up with the mission statement is of greater benefit than the mission statement itself. Unless you are marketing directly to the end consumer, perhaps a crafty, well-designed mission statement is not essential for your operation. But just thinking through the process of why you are in business, what values you operate under, and what you want out of all of this, and then writing some sentences down that articulate that can give you some real insights into how you can change the business to make sure your mission is accomplished. Sometimes we limit our horizon by having our business mission defined too narrowly. So rather than a mission statement that says, I will produce weanling calves, if you change that to perhaps, I will market range resources, it opens up a whole new area of thinking for you.
Great. And when it comes to family and other stakeholders, what role do you believe that they play in the strategic planning process for a farm business?
Well, as you're aware, most farms and ranches are family businesses, and having family involved in the planning process is one of the greatest benefits of being involved in agriculture. Having them involved in the strategic planning process not only makes the family vested in the business, but it endears the family to one another. Having stakeholders involved in the process, especially the external environment examination, adds to the breadth and the depth of the analysis, while also making them more interested in the success of the operation.
Great. Always important. And just to finish up, what's your advice to listeners on some of the first steps that they can take if they are looking to develop or refine a farm's strategic plan?
You know, I believe all farmers and ranchers continually think about the success of their operations, but not everyone sets aside uninterrupted, extended time to think about the mission of the business and the external environment. Making that time would be the first step. It is so important So important to have others involved, even if their only job is to listen while you try to verbalize, and for them to ask questions about what you were saying can add immensely to the process. Any insights, knowledge, or wisdom they may add is going to be an extra plus.
Great. Well, that's Larry Van Tassell, Professor of Agricultural Economics and Director of the Center for Agricultural Profitability at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. You can find his new article on the importance of strategic planning with tips for your farm or ranch business on our website at cap.unl.edu. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Ryan.
Nebraska Farmcast is a production of the Center for Agricultural Profitability at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. For the latest research-based information and education resources to manage your farm or ranch operation, visit our website at cap.unl.edu. That's cap.unl.edu.